CRD 2.4, Polynomial Division Part 2. So you've learned the box method, and in this section you're going to learn how to do long division with polynomials. We have to remember how to do long division with regular numbers, but then we're going to apply that to polynomials. You may think that you only want to do it one way, either box method or long division, but you really have to be able to do both, not only for the test, but for high school and Algebra 2. So we're going to be looking at the same problem from the last video, and it was in the lesson, x squared minus x minus 12 divided by x plus 3. Another way of writing that would be x plus 3 is on the outside of the house, and on the inside of the division house is x squared minus x minus 12. We'll do this problem on the next page, because first I want to remember how to do long division. So in this problem we have 5,264 divided by 4, and we're basically putting 4 on the outside and 5,264 on the inside. I have a little acronym that I teach, fifth graders, and I remind you guys about that might help you to remember how to do long division. DMSB, dead monkeys smell bad. Oh, I should have put a smelly monkey on here. Oh well, use your imagination. So D stands for divide, M stands for multiply, S stands for subtract, and B stands for bring down. Okay, so first we're going to divide. 4 goes into 5 how many times? Once. 1 times 4, 4. So now I divided and I multiplied. Now I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now I'm going to bring down, and I only bring down the 2. 4 goes into 12. Now I do it again, sorry. Divide again. 4 goes into 12 3 times. Now I multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. Now I subtract. Now I bring down. Now I start again. 4 goes into 6, 1 time. I multiply. I subtract. Hold on. I bring down. 4 goes into 24, 6 times. I multiply. I subtract. I bring down. I'm all done. So my final answer is 1,316. Okay, hopefully that brought you back up to speed. Here's my little acronym again, dead monkeys smell bad. This was the problem I worked on before. This is the problem I'm going to work on now. I'm not going to redo this one since I just did it for you. So we're going to look at x plus 3, and we're going to say how many times I'm just going to look at the x, and I'm just going to look at the x squared. I'm going to ignore everything else right now. I'm basically thinking about what times x will give me x squared, because I really want to match the x squared and x squared on top of each other. Okay, so let me erase that so it's not my way. How many times does x go into x squared? X times. Now that's my divide. Now my multiply is x times x, and I get x squared. I also have to multiply x times 3. X times 3, and I write plus 3x. So I have to multiply x by both things, even though I didn't really think about that in the beginning. I really want the first term to match up. I don't care if the second term matches up, though. Okay, now I'm on the s, subtract. This is where it gets a little bit hard. I recommend people use a different color. When I go to subtract this polynomial, remember I have to subtract this and I have to subtract this. So you want to think about using a different color pen so that you don't get your signs mixed up. So when I subtract, x squared minus x squared cancels, which actually was my goal. And then I have negative x and negative 3x. Because I put the sign in there, I just think about this as addition now, and I get negative 4x. Because it was negative x minus 3x, which is negative 4x. Okay, next is b, bring down. I bring down the negative 12. And now I have negative 4x minus 12. Okay, start again, divide. So I want to say how many times does x go into negative 4x? Remember, my goal is to match up that very first term. So x times negative 4 will give me negative 4x. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Okay, now I'm going to subtract. Remember how I told you to use a different color? And if I subtract negative 4x, it changes the sign. If I subtract negative 12, it changes the sign. And when I put those together, everything turns to 0. So what is my answer? X minus 4. So you can check your answer by multiplying the 2 out, but x minus 4 is my final answer. Let's try another one. 2x to the third minus 10x squared minus 36x plus 56 divided by x minus 7. If you did this using the box method, you would have to use a 2 by 3. So we're going to use long division to do this one. So I take a look at my x and my 2x to the third, and I say, how many times does x go into 2x to the third? Okay, so basically, remember, I'm trying to match those up. So if I put a 2x up here, I know I multiply. Actually, 2x isn't right. See if you can think of my mistake. Because if I multiply 2x times x, I'd get 2x squared. But I need 2x to the third. So this should actually be 2x squared. Now, if I multiply 2x squared times x, I get 2x to the third. If I multiply 2x squared times negative 7, I get negative 14x squared. Now, if I'm going to subtract, I change my signs, and I put things together. That cancels, which is what I wanted. Now I have 4x squared. B is bring down. I bring down my next term. In fact, on these, I just figured just bring everything down. It makes a lot of sense to just bring everything down. Okay, now, how many times does x go into 4x squared? So x times 4x gives me 4x squared minus 28x, because I multiply 4x times x is 4x squared, 4x times negative 7, negative 28x. Now I change color, and I subtract, and I change the sign there. Okay, put these together, that cancels, which was my goal, and now what am I going to have left here? Negative 8x, and bring down 56. Do it again. X goes into negative 8x. How many times? Minus 8. And then I multiply. Negative 8x plus 56. Change color. Put them together. I get nothing, which ultimately is your goal. Otherwise, you're going to have a remainder. But actually, the secret is that Linus doesn't have any remainders in this book. I have dealt with remainders before in other algebra classes, but in this class, we're going to focus on non-remainder type problems. So if you get a remainder down here and it's not working out, then you know you've done something wrong. Okay? Typical place to make mistakes on these kinds of questions is the red part where you're changing signs. Okay? Okay, now, I think we have 2 more that are tricky. 2x to the fourth plus 5x squared minus 14x plus 15 divided by x squared plus 2x plus 5. So you're going to go ahead and do this, and you're going to set it up, and I don't know why I didn't put the x squared plus 2x plus 5 there, but if you notice, these are exactly the same. But the difference between this one and this one, for its dividend, is that there's no x to the third term here, which is really going to foul me up later. So rather than go through the mistake I'm going to make and then go back, I'm going to tell you just put a 0x to the third term in. So now I have an x to the fourth, x to the third, x to the second, x, and constant. If it lines up like that, then you're going to have less problems later. Same with the divisor. If there's a missing term, put a 0 term in, because it's just going to make life a lot easier for you. Okay? So now we'll go ahead and do this one. I'm going to try and go kind of quickly on this one. X squared goes into 2x to the fourth, 2x squared times. If I multiply it, I get 2x to the fourth plus 4x to the third plus 10x squared. If I subtract it, my signs all change, and I get cancel, negative 4x to the third, and negative 5x squared. Now I'm going to bring down, and I get negative 14x plus 15. Okay, next, what is going to give me negative 4x to the third? So negative 4x, we'll do that. Negative 4x to the third minus 8x squared minus 20x. Now I'm going to subtract, which basically just changes all the signs, cancels that out, which is what I wanted, and I'm left with 3x squared plus 6x, bring down 15, plus 15. Now what's going to give me 3x squared is plus 3. I get 3x squared plus 6x plus 15. Oh my gosh, it matches perfectly, which is what I wanted. Subtract, 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 and I get 0. So my final answer is right here. Okay, one more strange one. Now I'm going to deal with multiple variables in it. Okay, so 2x squared, 12x squared plus 5xy minus 2y to the second divided by 3x plus 2y. Okay, this one it's tempting to put in placeholders, but there's no placeholders with the multiple variables. What you do is you say, okay, I'm only going to focus on this and this right now. What's going to make those match up? Well, if I multiply 3x times 4x, I'll get 12x squared. So that worked out perfectly. Now, if I multiply 4x times 2y, I'm going to get 8xy, which happens to be my next term. Sometimes your matching term is way over here, in which case that's okay. You have to line it up with its matching term. So what that means is I get 8xy, and I subtract, and I get negative 3xy, and I bring down. Now I'm multiplying 3x times what to give me negative 3xy? How about a negative y? Negative y times 3 gives me negative 3xy minus, not plus, or I'll do plus negative 2y squared. If I change my signs, I get 0. So this is my final answer. Some of these multiple variable ones are a little bit tricky, so definitely ask for help if you have some trouble with those. Okay, best of luck.